All right. So what we're going to do here is we're really going to check this VOD out. Ace of Spades is back. Ace of Spades is back. I think we saw Thorn. We saw a lot of cool new weapons. If $60 covers the next year, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. If it was like $60 for, if it was $60 for like just the annual pass, it might be a little much. Weapon slots have me really excited, almost scared. Weapon slots is interesting, right? Bit too loud? All right, we'll turn it down. Turn it down to about there. Effectively the price of a new game. Yeah. Last hand with Ace of Spades ornament. Deluxe edition confirmed in ornament of Ace for Ace of Spades. Okay. But just giving up on the story cutscenes, literally unplayable. I mean, not their strong suit as anyway. The bows look incredible, man. I cannot wait. Triple sidearms. All right, let's take a look at this thing. We'll start off with the vid doc here. They're not playing. Oh, there it goes. That was dope. It was, right? Pre-ordering gets you Ace of Spades ornament, exotic ship, exotic emote, and Cade 6 shaders. Deluxe content, bow, ornament, emblem, ghost shell. Oh my god, bows. Bows is crazy. All right, here we go. Wilson's going to be happy with a primary sniper. Yes, he is. All right, so we're going to pause this frequently to see what, to really, dissect this as best we can.
We have this opportunity that we wouldn't have had years ago to ship a
that intro cutscene with Cade 6 and a hunter coming down. I wonder if that hunter. So I'm wondering if that hunter is supposed to be our hunter or if that's a new character, right? The hunter's new super looks awesome. All the new supers look really good, really fun and changing the gameplay.
Honestly, yeah, we're building something the community has been asking for, and it's accumulation of everything that we believe the game needs to be.
The upside to that is we're not holding anything back.
All the feedback we've heard for the last year is, this is it. It's in Forsaken.
Dude, this is actually a dope screen right here. So we're not, it doesn't look like we're getting a new race, right? It looks like we're getting the Fallen, but we're getting new Fallen, specifically new captains or captain types, which is really cool. Fire Knives looks dope. So we're going to get a bunch of new bosses that do look pretty cool. And this prison break idea seems cool. And the Western aspect, the Western feel of it, but on the reef also sounds really good. Good. Story reveal next week. Yeah, they're doing the story at E3. Fallen that have hive light powers. I like the whole pirate theme. Yeah, man, it looks cool. So right here, obviously that's Cade on the right, but I wonder who that is on the left. Is that supposed to be our Guardian, or is that a new character? Because he's got a mask on, whereas Cade doesn't have a mask on. It's just his face. And usually when you see, computer controlled characters in Destiny, they don't wear masks. They don't wear helmets. It's just their face, so you can identify them. So my suspicion is that is actually our character, and that we're going to, at least in a cutscene, we'll be sitting there alongside Cade. Price is $69.99 for the annual pass plus Forsaken. Forsaken alone is $40. Okay. I'm going to miss stuff. Got to get my kids. All right. And then this gun is what everybody's saying is the first curse.
We want this release to have a...
What is going on with his arm there? That armor actually looks cool. That, it definitely has a Western flair to it, doesn't it? An Old West kind of thing.
A different tone and a different vibe.
We sort of just embrace that Western revenge vibe.
You could go to a darker...
There was that gun again. Let's try and get a look at this gun.
We want this release to have a different tone and a different vibe.
We sort of just embrace that Western revenge vibe.
Dude, that gun looks cool. That's not the first curse. That's more like a a classic revolver, more like Home for the Lost or the Old Fashioned. And look, its gun belt even has like bullets on it. Like it's got like an old fashioned gun belt. That's very cool.
You're going to a darker place. You're going to take on a different role as a guardian.
I like that. I like it that they're saying that it's going to go to a darker place, like the combination of an Old West feel. Old West, though, in space, in the reef, and with a darker tone to it. That's I like that about Destiny, right? When it gets real silly, like I care less about the story. Those are the lucky pants. Are those the lucky pants?
Yeah.
Spurs. I want Spurs. Dude, how cool is that? That looks amazing.
Landscape with like the asteroid vibe with like tumbleweeds, and I mean that just sounded cool.
Grit, man. Want to bring the dirt back.
And what better way to start a story than to start it with a prison break?
Right.
Cade's been filling this prison with bad guys that are really bad, and so when it breaks,
I like this. You got Cade fighting in a cutscene.
things can happen to all the world.
So those looked like new enemies, right?
That are really bad, and so when it breaks, things
Let's take a look at those new enemies.
to all the world.
Like holding those lanterns and running at you. Those look pretty cool. They got 2 arms. Are they fallen? It's $70 for all of it. The pass, the DLC. The DLC is $40. The pass is $30. Okay. So exciting. Excited watching while working pest control. I'm just worried the new area is going to be small and traverse from one end to another like in 45 seconds. I mean, we'll have to wait and see about that.
First place you're going to go
There's sparrows.
to is the Tangled Shore, which is a new part of the reef that you've never seen before.
That's right, my friend.
Dude, how badass are these guys with like the spikes on them? Oh my god.
It's a collection of lashed together asteroids
Yes.
and rocks out in the asteroid
It's
belt.
very otherworldly, and it's full of
Pirates and assassins.
Dude.
And
bad guys.
It's become a lawless place. It truly is a frontier. It's completely taken over.
The most malevolent force there is the Scorn. They're very aggressive. They're always going to charge and push you.
The Barons are the top dogs in this.
So the Scorn are like a faction of, I don't know if faction's the right word, but the Scorn are going to be like the new enemy race, which are fallen. So once again, kind of like similar to the Taken and similar to the Siva, like they are kind of reimagined fallen, but they look much different than what we're traditionally used to from like redone enemies. Like these guys look way different, and they look like they have different attacks and stuff too.
And each one has gone back and like committed nefarious crimes.
I think of it as the reverse Magnificent Seven, like the worst of the worst criminals. You are hunting
Like that guy looks badass.
down these different barons. In fact, they're called Baron hunts. So one baron is a sniper, and you have a sniper versus sniper battle with them. Another baron is this big, giant, hulking melee character.
Yes. Yes.
One of the things we're most excited about is the new weapon system.
Hey, if you like Destiny 2,
All right, let's look at this weapon system. So we're looking on the left here. And what's up, King Cyclops? Thank you for 7 months, man. Holy shit, the new weapon system is some straight Borderlands stuff. I love it. It does look pretty cool. So we're looking at the weapon system here, and what we can see right away is there still looks, there's the white, there's the green, and then there's purple. So you'll still have, it looks like, kinetic energy and power ammo, but I wonder how this will work with, like, what if I put a shotgun up here? Does that just then work off of kinetic ammo? Same goes with, like, let's say I put a rocket launcher there or a sniper rifle there, or will there be restrictions about what you can put where? I mean, they said you could potentially put 3 shotguns. You can roll with 3 shotguns. So it'll be interesting to find out, like, all three of those shotguns will work off of different ammo pickups. Does that mean that the shotgun's power will be less if you run? Let's say you have a shotgun in your kinetic slot. Will the kinetic shotgun do less damage than a power shotgun? Is it the same shotgun? Will there be different shotguns that go in different slots? Or will you just be able to move, like if you have a, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's say you have an exotic shotgun that's currently in the power ammo slot. Would you be able to just move it up to the kinetic and run it as a primary? That'd be interesting. I'm scared for PvP if we have nothing but shotguns. I thought 500 would be max light, not 600. They said, like, look, the numbers are here. Don't look at the numbers. Like, the numbers don't mean anything yet. You know, there's still time. They're still developing. They haven't settled on numbers yet. Different shotguns for 3 spots. My poor vault, right? I mean, it's interesting. In my opinion, they didn't quite clarify how this is going to work, so we'll have to wait and see. It may be that they haven't figured out exactly how it's going to work yet. It may be that we play a preview build at E3 and at Guardian Con, and they're testing that out. They get a little more feedback, and then they refine it before September. It'll be interesting to see.
Great. Play that way. But if you like Destiny 1, great. Play that way.
So that's a sniper rifle. Okay, and so if you look right here, it says green ammo, right? So does that mean that you have a specific sniper rifle or specific weapons can go in specific slots? You know what I mean? Like, are they just making more weapons? That, like, so if I get a specific sniper rifle, if I get the Twilight Oath, is that only going to be allowed to go into the energy slot, or can I move that up into the kinetic slot if I want to? Maybe it's a mod. Interesting.
But if you're crazy, why not 3 shotguns, right?
I want to go back and see what they just showed there.
Weapon system.
Hey, if you like Destiny 2, great.
What was that gun called? Sorry for skipping around. It's a little twiddly.
One of the things we're most excited about is the new weapon system.
Hey, if you like Destiny 2...
Twin Rabbit. Now that sounds exciting. Twin Rabbit. Gravity and fire. Shoots 2 tracking rockets, 1 void and 1 solar. No shit. Void rocket suppresses. Solar rocket causes damage over time. Yo, that's really cool. That's a very cool thing. And this one, it does show, the purple ammo next to it. That's very cool. That's 2 tracking rockets, 1 void, 1 solar. 2 rockets. I thought that said Dato's best, right? And it's got a magazine size of 2, so you shoot the 2 rockets, then you got to reload. Void rocket suppresses, solar rocket causes damage over time. That's going to be powerful. That sounds like it's really good.
Great.
All right, and then you got the hand cannon, and this is in the energy slot, 110 rounds per minute, so that's not a change. 12 magazine, increased movement speed and target acquisition when moving while aiming down sights. Okay. Do they keep going up?
Play that way. But if you like Destiny...
What if it's part of the random rolls? So you get a sniper that can roll as a primary, but also roll as a secondary. That would be interesting. That'd be really interesting. So if you theoretically got the thin line hand cannon, it could roll as kinetic or as special. The rockets will be rabbits.
You won. Great. Play that way.
Twilight Oath sniper rifle. Aiming this weapon without firing for a brief moment grants bonus range and precision damage while it remains zoomed.
But if you're crazy, why not 3
Trackless waste. Okay, so this is a shotgun in the kinetic slot. It shows the kinetic icon. This is interesting.
Shotguns, right? Just for the fun of it.
Dude, how cool was that shotgun looking?
Weapon system.
Hey, if you like Destiny 2, great. Play that way.
Yo, Salty Grinder, thank you for 21 months. I really appreciate that, man. That's a long time. I really do appreciate it. 21 months. Thank you so much.
But if you like Destiny 1, great. Play that way. But if you're crazy, why not 3 shotguns, right?
Dude, how cool is that shotgun, man? That is a cool looking shotgun right there.
Just for
These enemies look different. I mean, they're definitely fallen, but they look different.
the fun of it.
That's a new shotgun too. That's very cool. What's up, Salty? How you doing, man? Looks like an 870, a little bit, right?
To have as many ways as possible, and then we need to have people fighting about it. Like, no, man, you f***ed up. You're taking the wrong weapons, or can I say?
Is that a lever action pistol? Look at that reload. That is a very cool reload. I wonder if that's exotic. I think someone at Bungie watched too much Mad Max. Or the right amount.
Randomals are coming back. Every single weapon is going to feel different when it drops. And
all right, we're going to listen to this whole thing.
so randomals are coming back. Every single weapon is going to feel different when it drops. And we're improving the mod system so you can customize your weapon the way you want it.
So random rolls are coming back, and they're improving the mod system so you can customize your weapon the way they want. They don't really go into details about it. Holy shit, what is that gun? Is that an exotic shotgun? Because it's fucking gorgeous. If you hit the back arrow, it'll go back a couple of seconds. Back arrow. Where's the back arrow? What back arrow? Did he just consume his nade as a Stormcaller? Is that what just happened?
So randomals are coming back. Every single weapon is going to feel different when it drops. And we're improving the mod system so you can customize your weapon the way you want it.
That was purple.
We've got a whole new Masterwork style system coming together where you
Man, I love the look of that gun, man. So it's called a break action revolver on your keyboard. Oh.
actually are able to Masterwork style system.
Oh, okay. That's going to make things way easier.
We've got a whole new
Good call.
Masterwork style system coming together where you actually
Dude, I love that weapon. That looks amazing.
are able to
That one looks pretty dope too.
kind of move your levels up.
That one looks sort of familiar to like the Dead Orbit stuff that we've seen. He consumed an arc grenade. Are you sure that was an arc grenade? It looked purple to me. Tooltip for the pre-order says 9 additional supers. Yeah, that makes sense. One for each subclass. Basically, you know how we have 2 on each subclass, we have 2 arching branches. It looks like we're just going to get a 3rd branch for every subclass. So that would be 9 new supers. Consumed arc. He definitely consumed arc. No shit. Stormcaller ate his nade. Interesting. I wonder if it has the same effect.
Up over time, and so there's investment back on the weapons again.
That's super though. He just goes diving head first. Here I come, bitches. Boosh. It's kind of like Death from Above from Destiny 1. That's awesome.
Crazy. What's your favorite? Fire knives are awesome, which is a different take on Golden Gun.
We took a lot of inspiration from Rise of Iron.
The hammer is awesome.
Golden Gun.
We took a lot of inspiration from Rise of Iron. Cast that.
It's like a melee attack. I wonder if there'll be a secondary attack.
And you slam that thing down, and it sends out this fire in front of you that then creates a fire tornado.
That's awesome.
We gotta take it to the next level. That then creates a fire tornado. We gotta take it to the next level.
I love how excited he is. We gotta take it to the next level.
The idea that anyone who plays, however they play, they're gonna have some new way to engage. The idea that anyone who plays, however they play, they're gonna have some new way to engage.
That boss looks like a pain in the dick.
I'm in love with.
You use the pole dancer as a shield too.
That's like super anime, just like.
That is gonna be a bitch to fight in the Crucible.
Super anime.
Dude, the teleporting warlock is gonna be a bitch to fight in the Crucible. Because like you combine the teleportation with network lag, and it's like, where the fuck did what? Oh, I'm dead. Devs seem more excited about this update than any before. I mean, they definitely seem excited about it. If you don't think they care about this game, you are very wrong. How do you think Holtzman is feeling about those throwing knives? Probably pretty good.
We've been having great games with the Arc Warlock.
Basically cast this thing, he pulls back. Yeah, and it's gonna break the game, and I think that's amazing.
That's awesome. It's like a beam of energy.
It's gonna break the game, and I think that's amazing. Yeah, you know.
I love that guy. That guy's my favorite guy now.
That's amazing. Yeah, you know.
He just makes me happy.
That felt meaningful, so we came up with a bow and arrow, which seems kind of crazy. Also wanted a new weapon.
The game, and I think that's amazing. Yeah, you know.
Dude, that bow though. That
We
bow.
also wanted a new weapon type that felt meaningful.
It's amazing. Yeah, you know.
We also wanted a new weapon type that felt meaningful, so we came up with a bow and arrow, which seems kind of crazy, but when you use it, you feel like godlike.
And they got different kinds of bows. Like this one is more like a compound, right? And this one's a recurve.
Which seems kind of crazy, but when you use it, you feel like
That's so dope.
It is utilitarian, it's fantastical.
You see how the arrow like stuck in the guy too? That'll be fun in
It is
PvE.
utilitarian, it's fantastical, it's also sci-fi.
So we have a short range bow, we have a medium range bow, we have a long range bow. We built this guy, which is like supposed to be super techy.
So that looks like you can attach it to a surface, right? And then it reaches out and it like shocks nearby enemies. That's pretty neat.
You're like, why would you ever choose a bow in a game that has an automatic, machine
Watts
gun?
has to be
But boy,
floored by the bows, right? She's always wanted bows.
automatic.
I want to see this one too.
Why would you ever
Check out the
choose a
mohawk in the
bow
background. That
a
is
game
dope.
Has an automatic, machine gun, but boy, it's
Dude,
deadly.
that bow is so cool looking.
Machine gun you got there, buddy, but right, and then it's done.
Bows are gonna be fun.
Going into production on this game was like a new way to play, a new thing to do that like is new to Destiny.
Let's see what we've got.
We want to be able to give players what they want, but also surprise them.
Gambit is a brand new mode.
Destiny begs to marry PvE and PvP together.
It's like adding bacon to peanut butter and jelly.
You start
I am so excited that Gambit is PvE and PvP. It's like a combination of the two. It looks like it's going to be a fun game mode. It really does.
off, being able to see the other team that you're going to compete against, so you can taunt each other, you can emote.
Each team is in their own.
The other
See the
team that you're gonna
Callus
compete
emote in the back?
against, so you can
That was
taunt each
great.
other, you can emote.
Each team is in their own.
Did he just slap his Guardian's ass? Watch this. Watch the front row. Smack!
Each team is in
He
their
just smacked
own
his ass.
Separate arena, and they're being assaulted by combatants. Each team is
that
in
an
their
ogre?
own separate arena, and they're being assaulted by.
Dude, the armor looks cool too.
Each team is in their own separate arena, and they're being assaulted by combatants.
They're dropping motes for you to collect, you bank them.
When you put them in your bank, you're going to send a blocker over to the other side that locks their bank down. They can't put motes into it until they take out that blocker. Filling up your bank with the motes is how you summon your primeval. You burn it down, that's it. Round's over. The interesting part is that we allow one person from your team to go over to the other side and physically invade.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've seen teams.
We're
go
sending
over the
Watts
other
every
side
time.
And physically invade. I mean, I've seen people that just hate PvP. Like the first time they invade and they get multiple kills, they'll come back and they'll be like, "Suck it!" It's awesome.
Gambit looks good.
We leave the raid team alone. I mean, if you can't tell, like we just kind of let them do their own thing. But
We have Joe over there.
For the
I'm shocked they showed the raid. You know, they started talking about the raid. Usually they leave it till much later to start talking about, if they talk about it at all. I gotta say though, Gambit, man, like that looks like it's gonna be a really fun and dynamic mode. Hopefully there's a lot of maps for it. Hopefully there's a lot of like replayability there, because like the race, the Guardian race against the other team is really fun, because you're gonna be like at a PvE race, so it'll reward good PvE play and good coordination with your teammates. Like, you know, synergistic play with your teammates, because you're going to try and get through this event as fast as possible to beat the other team who you can actually see. And then you'll also be able to fuck with them directly by putting those tokens in, and by just sending somebody over there to actually just kill them. It sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. It sounds like, you know, it'll be a good time solo. Like if you just want to jump in, hopefully there's good matchmaking for it. But if you get into a team and you start coordinating, like you can really come up with some good stuff. That'll be a lot of fun. Synergy, where's my dictionary? Your clan versus mine. Like you could totally see Bungie doing the Bungie versus on that. You know, I could see having a lot of fun with that. A lot of fun.
this next raid, we wanted to get.
And it's not just PvP, right? It's like there's a little bit of PvP to it, but it's definitely like team versus team, but it's much more focused on PvE, where you're just trying to get through the PvE event as fast as possible. It's a very cool game mode. I'm looking forward to trying that out.
Back to the epic adventure where you're going after.
Dude, how cool does this place look?
Monster again.
Dude, it looks insane. Oh my God, look at that bow. That Titan looks amazing. Does he have two bows? He's got one in the front, one in the back, or is that the sword? That's a sword in the back, isn't it? Can we do three-way gambit for faction rallies?
More bosses than any raid we've ever had before, and we're really excited to.
More bosses than any raid we've had before. More bosses. One of the biggest complaints about Leviathan was that there weren't any bosses. There's encounters, but not bosses. That'll make a lot of people happy. God, it looks stunning too. I really think Leviathan looks amazing. This, I think, looks even better.
Layers in there.
All right, what are we looking at? We got some bows. We got two warlocks that both have bows. One second to the right and one right in the middle. Very cool looking. I like the armors too, man. The armor's looking good. There's a scene that shows a warlock with a katana-style sword on the back. Oh my God.
The raid is actually
5 bosses. Bosses are cool, man. Like, bosses are cool. Which one do I buy? Destiny 2 plus annual pass or the deluxe edition? I'm buying the deluxe edition.
more than just the raid. It's about the.
Look at that. It's gorgeous. The Dreaming City looks amazing.
And about more than just the raid. It's about the Dreaming City, the place that the raid exists. And it's an in-game destination that we've never done before.
It's the awoken homeland.
I could talk about the Dreaming City for hours. It's like if the Vault of Glass and Dreadnought had a baby.
So it's going to be a destination as well as the place the raid is, from what it sounds like. I wonder if they'll do something like the Escalation Protocol there. Will we be able to go into the Dreaming City with a fire team of 6? You know, like, is that what this is going to be about? This is going to be interesting. Dreaming City is a new concept for Destiny, I think. Yo, Kaiser, thank you for 24 months, man. That's 2 years. How fucking hype can one get? Woohoo, awesome sauce. Thank you for 2 years, Kaiser. I really appreciate that, man. Dude, Dreaming City looks really cool. If they allow us, is there any footage of them showing?
That we've never done before.
So they're only showing 3 Guardians there.
I could talk about the Dreaming City for hours. It's like if the Vault of Glass and.
Wait a minute. So they're showing 3 Guardians kind of jumping across over here, and 1 Guardian doing an emote here.
Dreadnought had a baby.
If they were like twins.
Or yeah, that's actually more accurate.
Yeah, they're like twins.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
You had twins, and then you took those twins and you put them on the doorstep of Peter Jackson.
Oh my God, it looks so good.
That's the Dreaming City.
It is magic.
I hope it's big, though. I hope it's like a big environment, you know? I mean, I love the Dreadnought, but it was pretty small.
And weird.
Dude, this place looks dope.
It's designed to be a destination that has puzzles that you need to solve
A lot of hidden corners.
Puzzles that you need to solve. A lot of hidden corners. That sounds like the Dreadnought for sure. I'll buy foreskin for sure, but I'll wait on the rest.
Lots of passageways that might not seem to exist the first time.
And the raiders, they affect this destination. They change it for everyone. It's like
That's dope, man. So the people who do the raid are going to open up new parts of the Dreaming City.
This cyclical endgame place where there's just secrets and different activities that unveil over time.
So the Dreaming City that you see at launch is not going to be the same Dreaming City 2-3 weeks later.
How cool is that sword on the Titan's back? That thing is very, very good looking. And these enemies with the shields, man, they almost got like a Greek vibe to it, you know? Like an ancient Greece vibe. Very cool. It almost reminds me of the older God of War games.
So it's not going to be the same Dreaming City 2-3 weeks later. See that you see
What if you could just start a raid on patrol? That'd be amazing.
at launch. It's not going to be the same Dreaming City.
You know, that's one of the coolest things about Vault of Glass was that the raid started in a patrol zone. Just want a good raid? I want a good raid too. The raid started in a patrol zone for Vault of Glass. So if you were on patrol and you saw some dude struggling to open that door, you could actually help him out. It was pretty cool. And you could actually use the raid to load into Venus and do all sorts of weird stuff on Venus. Which faction should I pledge to? Future War Cult, for sure. Like, no doubt about it. I think I might try streaming, but I'll need caffeine or alcohol to loosen up.
2-3 weeks later.
Dude, that sword looks awesome. What did that Warlock just do?
So
that was
whatever
interesting.
design decision we made for the Forsaken, like the first thing we ask is how would the community react to this?
Players want
That Warlock super definitely looks like Death from Above from Destiny 1, doesn't it? I don't see anything bad about copying some great ideas from WoW.
Players want their investment in Destiny.
Was that Thorn?
Is how would the community react to this?
Players want their investment.
It's not Thorn, but fuck, man, it looks cool. So that's another break action revolver with some kind of like dark energy to it.
In Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see
That looks super cool. Let's look at that again.
In Destiny.
It's definitely got like a Thorn-ish aspect to it, doesn't it?
To matter, and
the community react to this.
Players want their investment.
That's not break action.
Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see that reflect. Players want their investment in Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see that.
Dude, that thing looks badass.
We knew we wanted to do
to matter.
That Hunter's Arms looks like a 90s windbreaker.
Content.
We knew we wanted to do something for the collectors in our game.
That's Thorn? You think that's Thorn?
Their investment in Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see that reflected.
If it is Thorn, that's a new model for it, or it's
and they want to be able to see that. Players want
or a new skin.
In Destiny
is how would the community react to this?
Players want their
I think it's dope looking. I would say that's not Thorn. I mean, it shares some design stylings with Thorn, but it looks much nicer than Thorn. It's not as craggy. Hold on. This is Thorn. I mean, it's got some similarities, I guess, but mostly I'd say it's just the fact that it's got that black energy coming off it, but it doesn't really have all the thorns, you know, and it doesn't have this like jewel at the front. It doesn't have this like kind of serration on the barrel. Rose, it could be Rose. Taken Thorn. Rose is cool. But I mean, it looks pretty different than Thorn. That looks pretty different than Thorn. If you go through and listen closely, it has the same sound.
Investment in Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see that.
I mean, I can hardly hear it.
Content.
We knew we wanted to do something for the collectors in our game. So we built a feature called the Collections. It's a way for you to track all the items that you can go out and acquire.
If collections works like I think it's going to work, this is going to be huge. Combined with 200 extra slots for your vault, you got collections where you still have the stuff that you're not using, so you don't get rid of it. You still collected it, and you still have it available to you. And then your vault is just the stuff you use. That'd be cool. Thorn with foreskin.
There's so much gear in our game. There are 2,000 items you can get. Go get them. 2,000
items you can get. Hope it's like a quest book and Triumphs in Destiny 1. I hope it's like if you delete an item that you have, then it'll still be in your collection and you can always get it, you know? And that's how it seemed to be explained for exotics, at least.
You can look at sets and you can say, I haven't filled out this set. What do I have to do to go get it?
If I want to find like how many guns in the world, I can actually go look now.
We also had a Triumphs thing, which is just acknowledging your achievement.
It like ties into records, it ties into lore.
It's a thing that can help you drive like, hey, I want to do that. And if I do those things, I can get a title. Like I can have a title floating over my name.
You can have a title floating over your name? I didn't even catch that the first time around. That's awesome.
It says that I'm a god or whatever, not me, like you.
Pre-ordering next day, next payday, going to go full digital this time around. Usually I go digital on PC, and then I if there's like a physical collector's edition, I'll go physical collector's edition on PlayStation.
We want Forsaken to feel like a game that never ends, so we're going to reinforce the hobby and make the experience something that can be played night over night.
We're changing the weapon slots. We're changing how the pursuits work.
I mean, compared to Rise of Iron and the Taken King, like these are definitely like similar fallen enemies, but they look way different to me.
That can be played night over night.
We're changing the weapon slots. We're changing how the
like the art is very different.
Features like the collections and
it looks cool.
We built Gambit. Pursuits work. We're adding new features like the collections and the Triumphs. We built Gambit.
We've got a whole bunch of new weapons to chase, exotics that are really powerful.
We have Lisa focusing.
Dude, did you see that sword?
Exotics that are really powerful.
We have Lisa focusing.
That killed like 3 dudes with that one sword. It was like an energy blast out of the sword.
We have Lisa focusing.
That was cool looking.
Exotic armor. Maybe we got
Yo, Red Roshi, thank you for the tier 1 sub, man. Welcome to the rabbit hole. I'm gonna start making a Western soundtrack for this DLC. I need appropriate music to hunt down a reverse Magnificent 7. That Warlock stabbed the ground? Yeah, that looked cool. Bullcaster 2.0, totally. There's a solar bubble? Where'd you see that?
We've got a whole bunch of new weapons
like the collections and
all right, I see what you're saying. That looks void to me, and then
we've got
new features like the collections.
Like the Warlock.
We built Gambit.
Maybe that's how they put down a rift in
that are really powerful.
Maybe they changed the animation for rift? Because it looked like he put down a rift in there, didn't it?
We built Gambit.
Right there, you can kind of see the rift underneath the bubble.
New weapons to chase, exotics that are really powerful.
We have Lisa focusing on some sweet new exotic armor. Maybe we got overboard, like dialed it too high.
That's that new rocket launcher that shoots 2 rockets. The Twin Rabbit. That Twin Rabbit looks dope, man. It seems to shoot them both at the same time, too. So it's not like thump thump, it's just boom and both rockets go. Looks like Phoenix Dive.
Go out there and collect in the world. Exotic armor pieces to go out there and hunt.
Dude, this place looks amazing. Wait a minute, what's that gun on the left?
Exotic armor pieces to go out there.
Look at that Warlock's gun. That looks more Thornish to me.
Armor pieces to go out there and hunt.
That looks way more Thornish to me than the first one.
Pieces to go out there and hunt.
I wonder if that's the same gun. It looks similar. And then is that Cold Heart on the right? Or is that like an electric version of Cold Heart?
Exotic armor pieces to go out there and hunt.
We're working on
same gun?
Random rolls, new mod system, new subclass.
Dude, look at that sword.
Armor perks.
What's the armor perks? Reverie, Dawn, Bond. While in the Dreaming City, you deal more damage to all targets. While in the Dreaming City, you take more damage from all sources. Oh, interesting. Oh, man, that's super interesting. Okay, so with the Reverie Dawn bond, while in the Dreaming City, you deal more damage, but also take more damage. So it's a risk reward to wearing that armor. Oh, I like that. That's very cool. Perhaps it's not the correct choice, but it was the right choice. What if the Cold Heart with mods from the new mod system? It could be. I like that. Yeah, that's very interesting. So you can choose, like, do you want to be in the back, you know, being like a DPS guy, or do you want to be up front? If you want to be up front, like taking the damage, that might not be a great way to go. But if you want to be in the back doing a lot of damage, and you're not planning on taking a lot of damage, that could be a very cool build. That's super cool, right? That is super cool.
Random rolls, new mod system.
Dude, look at this sword, man. That sword is dope.
Armor perks, random rolls, new mod system. We're working on armor perks, random rolls, new mod system, new subclass path.
We're making Forsaken for people who love Destiny.
What was that hunter up to?
We're making Forsaken for people who love Destiny. We're making Forsaken for people who love.
You think that's the new Blade Dancer?
We're making Forsaken for people who love Destiny.
Making a game that we can all love. That is the goal. That's what we're gonna.
That looks like Blade Dancer Super, doesn't it? Like two blades come out, and he's like whack whack.
Making a game that we can all love. That is the goal. That's what we're
Void Dancer.
Be pushing towards always.
Everything we're building is through that lens.
I mean, the trailer brings the hype.
Hello. I just saw you guys in that video.
Yeah. I know. It's very.
The trailer brings the hype, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Calm down.
Says Void Blade, bottom left.
Okay, good.
Void Blade Dancer.
Welcome to the live
It's like good energy though.
That was
Void Stepper. Here comes the Void Stepper, murderer.
A major expansion to the game that we've been playing since last September. And this September, we're going to have all new ways to play and collect and evolve and do awesome stuff.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure to introduce you to my two fellow co.
I think there's a third super to all characters, and it's different type of element. Cutlass, I think there's a new super for every subclass. So for instance, you have 3 subclasses for every character. So you're going to have a new super, or you're going to have a new. So right now, if you go into your subclasses, you got 2 branching paths. I think there's going to be a 3rd branching path, and that means 9 new supers. 9. That's pretty exciting.
Co-hosts, 2 developers who have been leading our team in the development of this new adventure. They are Scott Taylor.
Hi.
And Steve Cotton.
How's it going?
These 2 gentlemen.
We stole Blink Fair and Square. Give it back, Bungie.
Previously, if you've been watching Bungie streams for a while, they may seem familiar to you. Scott, you and I sat next to each other right around this time last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
God, time passes
It
so
does.
fast when you're playing fun. So we were together for the reveal of Rise of Iron.
Yeah, that was great.
There's too much free space in the subclass screen for it not to be filled. Yeah, agreed, Dayboy.
And 4 trains
18
and
trains
18
and
trains, yeah. But you were on stream for the first time that we ever revealed private matches. And
During the stream, I was looking behind Deej. I was trying to figure out, because it looked like, if you look at this shaft here, it looked like that was connected to this right here. But I think what this actually is the hammer right there. And then this is the tube of Gallahorn. You just can't see the rest of Gallahorn like in the front.
And playing in Rise of Iron. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
For people who might not be familiar with you, for people who might not know what...
He said shaft. You hype for random rolls? I'm interested. I'm interested in what it's going to be for sure.
Right. So I am the Forsaken Project.
The way they say random rolls, like they're bringing back random rolls. They don't really say they're bringing back random rolls. They're adding random rolls, and you're going to be able to customize your weapon with mods. That's interesting. I want to know how it works, though.
My primary job is controlling Steve. When I'm not doing that, we work with a lot of awesome people, the leads of the game, to make sure that Forsaken ships and is everything that we want it to be. So that's kind of what I do.
Do you concur? Are you under control?
Well, I prefer loose cannon, I guess. Maybe. No,
Okay.
he keeps me.
All right, we'll skip through here.
Like any game, but a game like Destiny especially, somebody kind of has to try to keep the whole game in their head so that we're making all the right decisions for what's best for the game. So I guess that's what I do, and set high level direction and goals for the teams. But mostly, I think I just listen to a bunch of great ideas and nod a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And we,
Have you seen this already? I've already seen it.
So many different teams to work on this game.
So mods is like reforging now? That's the question, Salty. Are mods going to be like reforging? Are weapons going to randomly roll? Like, let's say you get a Better Devils. Is it going to randomly roll with a bunch of random perks or mods on it? And then are you going to be install the mods that you want? Or is it going to randomly roll and then mods are going to be kind of extraneous to that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, we got to meet a lot of those teams and a lot of those people in the Vidoc. Narrative designers, sandbox designers, mission designers, activity designers.
Yep.
So it's all coming together all over again under your direction. So we're grateful for it. What have been your overall goals? What have been your super objectives in the leadership and guidance?
I like that they talk about this now. This isn't something that Bungie talked about in the past. Talking about their overall goal for something, their overall like design goals for a DLC or for an expansion, like who they're targeting, what they're targeting, I think that's smart. It sets expectations.
Of all these teams working together.
So we had two goals with the Forsaken, Scott and I. The first was to kick off the game with a brand new story. One that had a new tone and a new style, one that we're both really, really excited about.
Yeah.
You saw a little bit of it in the Vidoc, but
just a little bit.
We're not going to talk about that much today. I think we want to.
Are we assuming the old guns will work in the new weapon slot system, or will we have to get them back again? It depends on how that slot system works. It looks to me, from what I've seen so far, there's nothing to indicate to me that if you get a power weapon that you can move it into the primary or into the kinetic or energy slot. What it looks to me like is that there's going to be, kinetic versions of shotguns, energy weapons, energy versions of shotguns, and power weapon versions of shotguns. So you won't necessarily be able to bring, your power weapon version of a shotgun and equip it as your primary. So they can tune each version of that shotgun a little differently. That's what it seems to me. But again, we don't really know yet.
I think we want to leave that for a little bit later. But the other goal was that we wanted to reinforce the Destiny hobby. And that was about bringing depth back to the game.
I like that. Reinforce the Destiny hobby. Bring depth back to the game.
It's about not, depth in the way that we challenge players and the way that they discover secrets and the systems and the way that they learn about the game and feel smart and think about the game. So those were the two goals.
Okay. When you talk about bringing depth to the game, I think we took a look just briefly at the Dreaming City.
God, that's gorgeous.
The Vidoc.
That's absolutely stunning.
This is a great piece of evidence.
That might be some of the best art I've ever seen in Destiny. And they do good art.
This depth to the end game. And I love the statement that this is the first time that we've ever built a destination to serve as the home to the end game, a place where all of those things can live.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil the surprise here, because that's what the Dreaming City is about, about being a surprise. But it is a destination built to have some of the most difficult challenges and the deepest secrets. But it's one that I think
difficult challenge, deep secrets. That's the kind of stuff that keeps you coming back, right? Looks like Rivendell in the Reef. Yeah, I would agree with that. Almost time to hop in and show your loyalty to future war cult soon. We're gonna watch a little bit more of this vid doc first, though.
I know. We're being coy about a lot.
It's funny. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, actually, we're just really excited about the Dreaming City, and it ties into the raid in a really special way. And so we're showing more of that than we have before. But it's because we really want to show that the raid and they all tie together in a really impactful way. But player discovery is like really important, and so that I think we're going to kind of leave it there.
That's fine
for this.
Yeah.
But
you have a lot
look
of
how
end game.
pretty.
You have a
look
lot
how
of
pretty.
It is pretty.
Look how pretty.
It is pretty, and you have a lot of end game promises to make. These are promises that we will keep in the game, and also promises that we will elaborate on all summer long. This stream is the beginning of a conversation. I think we're kind of creating.
It's already over. It's already over, Kid Claire. We're just we're rewatching it now, and kind of going over the main points of it.
So next week we'll learn a lot more about the story that they're telling. We will learn more about our endgame challenges as the summer unfolds. May even invite some people outside of our studio to experience the Dreaming City and talk about its promise, because we're pretty good at saying that what we make is cool, but an outside perspective is always valuable. So these are curiosities that we will pay off later. Apologies if you want us to delve all the way into the deepest reaches of the Dreaming City.
We want you guys to play this game. We want you guys to play the
We
game.
do, in fact, want you to play this game. So these are conversations.
I like that. They're not going to reveal everything. You know, they want to keep some secrets, and that's cool.
In the Vidoc was
Yeah, I like when they keep the secrets of the new exotics, the new locations. What I want to know about are what I want to know about are the new weapon systems and how mechanics work like that. But as far as like content goes, I'd like them to keep that as secret as possible.
We want your reactions and your hot takes about Gambit to be kept under wraps until the first day.
I agree, Gonzala. Today's stream made me less worried about D2 by 100%. There's still things I want to see, but Lord, I feel good, and it's not just hype. Yeah. I'd say the only thing I really saw was the season pass that really was worrisome to me.
But while we did talk a lot about how it plays and what the essential experience is, what have been your goals for this new activity that we've never seen Destiny played this way before?
So it was really important to both Scott and I that Forsaken was able to deliver a new experience to people, right? And so what we gave the team, Lars, Robbie Stevens, the team free reign to invent something completely new. But specifically one that
give me a bow right fucking now. Seriously.
So, shooting monsters in the face, shooting guardians in the face. Bring those together and then add like big bosses and small bosses. And
trying to give the season pass a chance, but I'm a little upset about the lack of details. I'd like to see more details.
Yeah, and then
one player's moat is another player's treasure.
That's true, actually. Yes, that is true.
If you bank
those
them.
are a thing. Those are a thing. So all of those things, and then the team did something really awesome, and they added a risk-reward strategy mechanic to the game that really changes the conversations and the way that the decisions that you make during the game. It's no longer just about how fast can I shoot a guy and bring him down. It's about, well, should I be killing guys? Should I be collecting motes? Should I be banking? Should I be invading the other team? And so the result is fantastic to play. The community got to play it.
And then actually, this is really cool. At E3 next week, people will get to play Gambit. That's what we're going to have there. So on the show floor, we're going to have Gambit. And Gambit will also be like, on the director, it'll be its own node. This new activity.
So the people who went to the Bungie kind of community session got to play this game mode. They haven't been able to talk about it.
For the 6th year in a row, we will be.
But the public will get a chance to play it at E3 and at GuardianCon.
Everyone who gathers around that space, stop by and play, stop by and spectate. This is our first opportunity for people to get hands-on with this new activity. Now, if it's a little late for you to be planning a trip to Los Angeles or trying to score an E3 badge and you want to join the hands-on pre-launch conversation, we're going to take that same Gambit build, that same pre-launch build that we're bringing to E3, and we're going to ship it straight to Tampa, Florida after E3 is over so that it can be playable also at GuardianCon. So we're going to be sending an away team to that gathering of community and content creators. Gambit will be playable there. And if you want to be included, get yourself a ticket to GuardianCon because we'll be there too, and we'll see you there.
Just bought the deluxe edition.
Anything else that we want to say about Gambit before we move on?
Just excited for people to play it.
Yes. So you've talked a lot about reinforcing the hobby, and once the Destiny campaign is finished, a lot of players are always asking us, what's now? What's next? How are you going to keep me engaged over the course of a year? Give me a roadmap.
It's pretty exciting that it's coming. They're bringing the game and this new game mode to GuardianCon. Side note, like kind of aside from this, a lot of people who have been really hyped on GuardianCon in the past have been kind of looking at GuardianCon this year and being like, is this just going to be all about Fortnite? because a lot of the people who, put it together and a lot of people that are inviting have really, been down on Destiny. So it's interesting to me that Bungie's actually going to be an actual presence, as opposed to just last year they were there, but they were just kind of walking around and they didn't have a booth or anything set up to play the game. The fact that they're bringing, Forsaken and this new game mode to Guardian Con shows, I don't know, it's a pretty cool thing, and it definitely gets me more excited for Guardian Con than I already was.
For all of the other moments when I know that my hobby as a Guardian is going to be infused with new things to do. One of our new answers to that question is something that we're calling the annual pass.
This is hugely concerning. The annual pass, it for one thing, it's something that other game companies have gotten away from. We just saw Battlefield revealed that the next version of Battlefield 5, is not going to have a season pass. What's concerning to me is that they're once again asking you to pay up for future content in a world where there's also this Eververse. If they decided to make the annual pass replace Eververse, that'd make me hugely, hugely happy, because I think the Eververse, blocking off loot in a looter shooter behind the Eververse, I think it doesn't work well for Destiny. It's any loot that goes directly to Eververse, people are always going to be like, man, I'd much rather they had this behind, playable events, because that's what I'm here for. And the fact that you just go to Eververse and pay for this stuff, it doesn't feel good. So if the annual pass replaced Eververse, that'd be a huge win for Destiny. But annual pass plus Eververse, that doesn't feel as good. Year-long is better than year-long dry spells. Annual pass is better than year-long dry spells, says Majestic in chat. And I would agree with that for sure. What you're seeing here is that they're not DLCs like we saw in year 1, right? But it's also not just a dry spell like we saw in year 2 of Destiny 1. After the Taken King came out, there was a spring update, and then we were just waiting for Rise of Iron. It was a long, long time to wait. So this at least shows us a roadmap that there is going to be new content of some sort coming during year 2. It's not going to be DLCs, though. And they kind of talk about that later. But it's a little concerning to me that they are asking people to do a annual pass if they are keeping in the Eververse. And yeah, they're kind of two different things, but I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see, how this plays out is going to be interesting to me to watch.
This is a new way for us to sustain the game with new releases of content. And if we can keep the main graphic on the screen for just one moment longer, I want to call.
So you can see we get the Black Armory in the winter, Joker's Wild spring, and Penumbria in summer.
This is live on DestinyTheGame.com right now. And because our product pages have gone live.
What they say is they don't expect to see cutscenes and full stories like you normally see from a DLC. This is a different thing.
If you played Warmind, this is a different thing. So if you're the type of person that throws your money down on something as soon as it becomes available, we'd like to set your expectations that this is different than those expansions. What we have here are 3 different releases that will come out over the course of the year. Black Armory, Joker's Wild, and Penumbra in the winter, spring, and summer to come. So these releases are a new way for us to deliver content. What would you say?
I do like that we're going to get quarterly releases. Maybe it's not a full DLC like Warmind, but it is going to be new stuff, right?
What purpose would you say that these serve?
I think that the purpose here is to give you more of what you want more often.
Okay.
It's also about, it's more about chasing the power and the gear.
Okay.
Basically that's it. I mean, it's more often, more stuff that you care about.
Huge cornerstone for Destiny, the acquisition of power, the collection of new gear, the upgrading of your character. That's really what people talk about when they refer to the Destiny hobby.
Yep.
Let me take a deeper dive into exactly what you'll find.
All right, so here, this gets into more of what we can expect.
And if we can give people a read on this.
So we get end-game challenges, which could or could not be raid layers, or, it could be that, like, in one of them we get a new raid layer and in the next one we don't, or it could be, we get, something like Escalation Protocol in one of them. Endgame challenges is pretty vague. New weapons, armor, and vanity rewards to collect. New and returning exotics. New pinnacle activities. New triumph records to collect. And new lore to discover. So it's a bit vague. New raid, they said, most bosses ever. Does that count as more bosses in a raid than D1 or just D2? They're good at saying things leave you thinking. I mean, I took it to mean more bosses than we've ever seen in a raid, including Destiny 1. Endgame challenges do have the raid symbol. Yeah, it could be that they're raids. It could be. I mean, at this point, I would not suspect that all three of those releases will have a raid layer in them. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Until they say there's a raid layer coming in this, in this expansion or in this, update. I would not make that I would not make that assumption, because I think you're leading yourself to disappointment there.
Here is what, across these 3 different releases, you can find in your annual pass. Endgame challenges, obviously new things to collect, new and returning exotics, new pinnacle activities, deeply challenging things to really test your skill and your teamwork, new triumph records to collect, and we'll take a look at exactly how that'll unfold in the game, and new lore to discover and collect in the game using new tools and features that we'll be delivering to every player. The annual pass does have exclusive content for the people that purchase it, but this collection game is about to evolve in year 2. So I would say that to set your expectations for this right now, we're leaning harder into the things that keep you coming back to the game week over week, month over month. It's activities, it's action, it's challenges, it's things to earn and collect. We're not leaning as hard into cutscenes or cinematics. Obviously, we're telling a story.
This is actually smart to me.
You'll discover in moments of action.
Designing story stuff and cutscenes and stuff is hugely time intensive, and B, hugely expensive. So if they could spend that time and money developing actual activities instead of cutscenes and story, I think that's a smarter path forward. I really do. I think it's a smarter path forward.
The reason we play the game and things that we can collect and our understanding of the world that you're creating.
Gonzalo, I like that they told us about this right out of the gate too. I think it's smart.
And you'll be building on the great story that you're telling in Forsaken.
Yeah, it's definitely about not having just a single moment where people come back, and having that kind of extend and stretch out.
Yeah. And each of these releases, the 3 releases that we indicated, each of those releases begins a new season of play. So they kick off the season. It's a season that.
So there'll be 4 seasons in year 2, not 3 like year 1.
But it is sort of a thematic shift. So with the new beginning of the season, with the new release in the annual pass, we create a new theme that presides over everything that people will be doing in the game.
Yeah.
This is obviously something that you'll need to know more about. This is something that we will be talking more about, but because it's live and because it's available right now, we felt this was an important conversation to have before everyone made the assumption that, oh, these are these 2 expansions that I'm used to getting in Destiny. We've reinvented the way we sustain the hobby. We've reinvented the way that we release new content after launch, and we'll talk more about this. We'll talk more about everything we're talking about today, but we'll definitely talk more about this soon. Anything else you think I should be saying about that?
No.
That's kind of the new raw space, but we'll get more into it. In addition to the annual pass, obviously there's all the things that we do for every player of Destiny 2. And we're going to continue to update the game. Got a brand new roadmap to put on the screen.
Roadmap is cool. So roadmap in update 1.2.3, this is coming in July. So it's not going to be like we've seen in years past where, we get a spring update or release and then we have to wait all summer for something new. Arguably, Warmind is better than most DLCs that they've put out as far as like extended play. It seems like it is anyway. But in July, we're going to get a brand new seasonal event, Solstice of Heroes. We're going to get 6v6 quick play, which I think is a really great addition. Permanent Rumble, again, a very good addition. Bounties to do. Expansion 1 and 2 for the Raid Lair Prestige. That's huge. PC clan text chat. That's year 1 triumphs, more exotic armor sandbox changes. So in July, we're getting a pretty significant update to the game. I would say that's real significant. And then in year 2, that's when the Forsaken comes out, September 4th. We're getting gear collections, which looks really interesting. They're going to show a little bit more about that later. Yo, Garbanzo, thank you for a year of subs. Thank you so much, man. Do you have to go to the doctor if your Twitch boner lasts more than 4 hours? Yes, go see a doctor immediately. Thank you so much, Garbanzo. Gear collections, in-game triumphs, weapon slot changes, weapon randomization, mod system update. I'm looking forward to seeing that mod system update. Mods 2.0 used to be on the roadmap, disappeared for a long time, and now we see mod system update on there. So that's interesting. So we're getting weapon randomization plus mod system update. Bulk shader deletion. I wish that was coming earlier. That's a real pain in the neck, but whatever. New Crucible mode. 4 new Crucible maps. 200 additional vault slots for 500 total. In addition to the gear collection. So if the gear collections work kind of like what I think they're going to work like, or what they kind of showed they work like, if you don't like a gun or you don't want to hold on to a gun because it's taking up your vault slots, when you delete it, you'll still have it in your gear collection. And if you ever want it back, like say the meta shifts and all of a sudden this type of gun is very good in PvP, then you can get it back out of your gear collection. So in addition to gear collections and 500 vault slots, what I really hope this means is that we're just not going to have to worry about, vault anymore. In-game lore, new bounties, power matters in Iron Banner and Trials. Very interesting.
All has gone according to plan upstairs. We have a brand new roadmap that has been updated on Bungie.net right now. So if this isn't entirely legible on whatever screen you're using, Bungie.net has our new June 5th development roadmap. And this is where we plot the updates that every player of Destiny 2 will receive. And as you can see, update 1, 2, 3.
Deej says that's how it works. If that's how it works, the 200 extra slots are almost, it's like, that's just gravy at that point, because a lot of this stuff in my vault isn't necessarily stuff that I use. It's stuff that I collect because I like to collect stuff in the looter shooter. Like, that's part of the fun to me, is trying to complete full sets of armor, complete full sets of, weapons. And I like that. I think that's a lot of fun. It's part of the reason I like to play Destiny. So to be able to have like a gear collection tab where I might not have all of my, I might not use all of my like year 1 Vanguard weapons, but they're still there and it still shows that I collected them. That's cool. That's very cool.
2.3. So
Shells is a good one.
Due out on July 17th, has some pretty exciting new developments that will change the game even before Forsaken launches. Let's call out some of the things that we're looking forward to the most. Solstice of Heroes seasonal event.
It's very fun.
Yeah. So, and while the annual pass will have different,
looking forward to seeing what that's going to be.
Enjoy, every player of Destiny 2 is going to.
I wonder when they're going to start talking about that.
These special occasions. Solstice of Heroes really deserves its own proper reveal.
Yeah.
So we will talk more about how that'll play out. 6v6 quick play.
Pretty great.
Yeah. So the 6v6 playlist in the Crucible will permanently be home to 6 players versus 6 players. We'll keep competitive as that, intimate, a little sweatier, a little more challenging.
Big Chief, there was no talk about time to kill.
For those solo players out there that aren't excited about 6 players versus 6 players in those stacked teams, the Rumble playlist becomes permanent. And then all of the other things that you may have seen on a previous roadmap, bounties, prestige raid lairs, and some of the different features that improve your quality of life as a player. Let's move on to year 2.
Yeah.
Along with the launch of Forsaken come a lot of interesting evolutions to the Destiny player experience. Scott, I think you can agree with me when I say that the most important
I
development.
wonder if the weapon collections we will be able to pull out legendaries along with exotics. I believe so, Moocher.
I don't think it's a question. I think it's just. I think that is just a fact.
That
We can
much
just
is
move it up the
bulk
list.
shader, and then shaders also are
Put it where it
evolving
belongs,
in
at
our
the top.
other some other features.
All
as well.
kidding aside, shaders have been a very large conversation in our community, but there's a lot of other things here that a lot of players of Destiny can get very excited about. Power matters in Iron Banner and Trials. So
That was interesting. They're bringing back Power Matters to Trials and to Iron Banner. They told us that the reason they took that out of the game was because it actually increased the lag of Iron Banner and Trials, because the game had to do more calculations. It not only had to calculate how much damage a bullet does, but it had to also calculate what power level each character was, the player shooting and the player receiving damage, and do all that on the fly. So they told us that the reason that was not there was because of lag. So they're adding it back in. I wonder if they've found a way to fix that lag issue, or if they've just said, fuck it.
Those special events better commit to the progression of your Guardian. What else are you excited about? What else you want to call out?
Oh man, well, there's vault space.
That's a good question, Citizen Snap. How literally do we take them? Do we assume most of this stuff comes with the expansion, or just assume it's coming when it gets here, and when it gets here, it gets here? I would assume it's coming, and when it gets here, it gets here. They are putting themselves on the line a little bit when they put these roadmaps up here, and we've seen stuff slip off the roadmap. For instance, Mods 2.0 was originally on the roadmap for February of 2018, and it's continued to slip. Exotic weapon changes slipped. There's things that are on here. They're going out on a limb by saying this is the plan, but development is a complex thing, and something may happen, right? Something may happen. Something might be harder to do than they thought. Some other priority may pop up that they need to tackle. Like, who knows why, but it's very possible that anything on this list could get delayed past either July 17th or past September 4th. So this is a roadmap. Bungie is trying to communicate better with their community by putting these roadmaps out here, but it's not set in stone. It's definitely not set in stone.
Which is also another thing that we add all this content, and I don't want to spoil ahead, but that we're adding some random roles. And
sure.
We can jump into that. But those things all tie together, right? Yeah. And so because we're doing that, the vault space is pretty important.
We'll take a look at gear collection and in-game triumph and just.
So with random roles, this is actually pretty interesting, because you'll have gear collections. What does the gear collection for a legendary weapon hold? Every time I pull a weapon out of there, is it going to be a random roll, or is it going to be one fixed roll? And then that might be why they added 200 extra slots to the vault, is because with random rolls, you might have 3 better devils that you really like. One's great for PvE, one's great for PvP, and one's just like some dumb roll that you like fucking around with, right? They do give a plan like we all wanted. If they take some things off to fix and improve, at least we know what they're planning instead of just hoping they're working on a problem. Exactly, Mahogany. That's why I like that they put out the roadmaps, and that's why I'm not going to get too upset if something gets pushed off of it, because I think it's courageous to put these things out there like that, because they are setting themselves up to disappoint players a little bit. That's where the mod system will come into play. My guess is there will be a base legendary roll. Well, they use the word legendary roll or random rolls. It's interesting. I mean, we don't know everything about this yet.
It's important to call out that while collecting gear and keeping it in a menu that's sort of like your accomplishments, weapon randomization, or more affectionately known as random rolls, that is something that is coming back. Let's just say it again.
Yeah, they're testing it upstairs right now. It's coming back. We're bringing it in. Yeah. It's going to be good.
What's your goal for that as a game director?
Yeah, the goal for random rolls is just to get, to make earning gear more exciting to players, to personalize their chase for weapons and armor, and to really get add that depth that we were talking about before to a system that they can now kind of learn and dig into and try to figure out.
Yeah, I'm loving this recurring theme of depth.
Yeah.
Every drop has the potential to be exciting, to be something new. And,
yeah, that's way better.
When you get those weapons, how do we arrange them on our character? The weapon slot changes are something that are in development. We've seen that in playtest.
Oh yeah, and yes. Actually, do you want to talk about how it works? Then I can.
Sure, like weapon slots. Weapon slots are really exciting. I mean, all those things on that list are exciting. The weapon slots, especially, because the weapon slots are really about like giving you more control over your playstyle. So for me, it's about getting my fusion rifle back.
Sure.
That's just that's my priority. But for everyone else, I think it's different, right? And so now you have more control over which weapons you can put in those first 2 slots. You can still roll your 2 hand cannons if you want. Or you can roll 3 shotguns, Deej, if that's.
I do enjoy shotguns.
Yeah, but it changes the way that you think about the weapons that exist today, because it's going to like force you to move things around in a way that's really interesting, and then it changes the way you think about ammo and the way that it works. And so I'm really excited for people to play the weapon slots at E3.
Yeah, so yes, like Steve said.
Sorry, stole your thunder there.
Whatever.
Yeah,
spoiler. I didn't control him.
Yes.
He was next
Yeah,
to
there
me.
you go.
You're a
Yeah.
loose cannon.
So they don't really tell us exactly how the weapon slots are going to work. We know that there's going to be like snipers and shotguns in the kinetic and in the energy slots, but we don't really know if you'll be able to move like a specific weapon between slots, or if there will be specific weapons for each slot.
An E3 test build, is usually it's in development. It's not the full game. It's not.
My suspicion is that there will be specific weapons for each slot.
Inventory for use there, so it won't be the full realization of how the new weapon slot changes will work, but it'll give people a sense of how we're changing combat with access to different types of weapons for different opportunities. And like you said, you're going to let people play the way they want.
Yeah, and those are all going to be Forsaken weapons too. So it'll be new cool stuff that people get to see in the different slots.
Yep. And I did say that Destiny won't.
I want a bow so bad. I can't wait for the bow.
Fever dream from a rehearsal that we had prior to the stream.
You said the fever dream.
Did I say that live? Is this now?
No, this is now.
Is this now? Okay. Yeah. So there's all sorts of other conversations that we'll need to have about ammunition and balance and all of those things. So this will be a long conversation throughout the course of the summer. Where are we going next? We called out on the roadmap that gear collections and in-game triumphs are something that we're bringing to every player of Destiny 2, and we caught a glimpse of that in the Vidoc. But just to reinforce the fact that it is in fact real, I would like to break net live to a build of the game.
Can I say something?
I would love for you to say something.
So this is a build we propped from someone's machine. It's totally in development. We are going full transparent. You're going to see things, numbers, whatever. They are all like
triple boat loadout.
Fake, but they're not real. They're
not done.
They're not done.
We're back in the Westworld. Like, what is it? So they're not done. And so when you see something that's
I agree, Sipfod. Sipfod Fade. I think there will be kinetic shotguns, energy shotguns, and power shotguns. That's what it looks like to me too.
This is a look behind the curtain. This is a glimpse of something that is in fact in development. You can see our brave guardian named Bungie TV. This is a hunter that we have cobbled.
That's one ugly ass hunter, man. I just got to say.
Together for the purpose of this demonstration. This is obviously not my character because hunter, but
what are you?
I'm a warlock.
I know.
Have we met?
I'm a warlock.
Hope Gear Collections also have a build saver function. That'd be dope. I wouldn't expect it, but it'd be dope.
So if we take a look at the global navigation here on our user interface, across the top, the first thing you'll notice are some new feature tabs. The first that I'll call out are the triumphs.
Yep.
And if you can pay some special attention to some of the headers here, all of this is a work in progress.
I want that placeholder medal.
Yeah, you want that placeholder medal? Yeah, exactly. That's a hard one to get.
Is it bad that I actually want it just because it's like glowy and yellow?
But there's a lot of empty space that you can populate here. You talked during the Vidoc about some of the different badges and some of the different titles that you can display to commemorate your accomplishments. We're going to take a very high-level view of this, and everything that you're about to see is a work in progress. So you can screenshot this, you can speculate this. All the numbers will change. As you can see, we have Gambit-specific triumphs to collect and to lord over your friends. How you collect motes or the blockers, or you can see that we've broken this out into different categories. Again, there are not 0 of these things, but you can see that this is about creating many different levels of meaning and letting you gather these things together and categorize them in ways that make sense. So that's Gambit. And then across here, you can see that, again, the numbers are meaningless right now. We are in development.
It's basically the same thing we had with, Records of Triumph and Destiny 1. It's cool that it's coming, but it's not that exciting to me. I know a lot of people like the, the Moments of Triumph. I liked it until I got the T-shirt, and then I was done with it.
Which you have in the Forsaken campaign, of course, but throughout your hobby as a Guardian, there are going to be other things that you get to collect and add to this space.
And really quickly, how that works is that you're going to find items in the game that tell a story, and then you can go and gather them and collect them.
So that's pretty cool. It's basically that lore section sounds a lot like it's going to be basically a grimoire in game, which is kind of neat.
Items out in the world, and you're going to open them, and it might be page.
Yeah, Muju. It's basically like a codex for the game. That is very cool. So you might, for instance, find, like he says this, you might find like card 6 out of 7, and then have to like find 1 through 5, and then number 7 as well. But it won't be until you go into your lore tab, your lore triumph, and actually can read all of them in sequence where you really understand it. It's actually not a bad thing. Is it gold mine for solo people? It gives them very long tail grind. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So let's take a look at collections. A lot of people have, when they talked about Destiny, they're like, how many guns, how many exotics? Where can I find that stuff? How do you get that stuff? This is going to be a great guide. As
putting my name out of is Bife out of business. I don't think that's true. I think this is actually going to be welcomed by him because it's basically going to be a grimoire in game. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that it's very much going to be like you find these things around the world. They're added to the Triumph lore tab, and then in that Triumph lore tab, you'll be able to read that and kind of get some lore out of the game. Even if it's not necessarily a story-based DLC, they'll still add lore, which is cool.
As you assemble your perfect arsenal, again, we're going to leave a lot of this stuff for exploration at a later date, but just to show you how one of these categories works, we're going to take a look at the exotic arsenal. So you can see here that we have this grouped out by...
It seems to me this works a lot like the kiosks in Destiny 1.
So if I find something out in the world, if I buy something...
The key thing to find out about this is how it's going to work with legendary weapons. I wish they had done this with legendary weapons instead of exotics, because with exotics, there's only one role for exotics. You know what you're going to get when you get an exotic weapon. With legendaries, especially with random rolls coming, it's much more questionable how this works.
Thing from Xur, if that fated engram pays off, this gets added to my collection.
Yeah, so once you've acquired something, then it's here. So this is obviously similar to the kiosk that's in the tower, but one key difference, as you noted earlier, is that this is with you at all times. Yeah. So certain weapons, like the exotics here, you can buy back for a price, and so you can
certain weapons. He says certain weapons you can buy back.
Sure. You've gotten the thing.
Yeah. And when you say buy back, like if I were to acquire Sweet Business and dismantle it, not that I would ever do that.
Why would you do that?
Because it's so sweet. But if I did that, and then later on somebody said, you dismantled Sweet Business? What are you, an idiot? Like, what, did you think you weren't going to put an exotic in your heavy slot?
Well, you are an idiot.
Yeah, I know. I am an idiot. But
ouch,
I still play this
that Deej burn.
I love it just the same. And if I wanted my Sweet Business back, I could use this collection system to restore it to working order in my inventory. Using different materials that I've gathered. It's different for different categories. It's a long conversation that we're not going to have
to be really
today.
clear, that is explicitly about how the exotic...
Why 9 slits on the left?
Everything else is a work in progress. And because exotics are a thing of mystery...
Yo, Gary! People still play this game? What's up, Gary? How you doing, man? Thank you for 20 months. It's good to see you, buddy. It's always good to see you.
Something there that I don't think we're going to exactly show, but if you were hovering over an Iron Banner weapon, it would tell you
how to get it.
So it would tell you how to get it. It'd be like, go play that Iron Banner, or go do the strike, or whatever the circumstance is. It'll let you know. Or if it's mysterious like that, it will. There'll still be mysterious non-exotic things as well.
Yeah, and then we're still gathering these things together and putting them into interesting categories.
Yep.
All right.
Did you say 9 slots on the left?
Goes for your weapons. You'll tell me where I can go find all my favorite.
Click it, you son of a bitch! Click it.
Document the things that I've earned as I progress. Do the same thing for armor, breaking that thing out across all.
I mean, he says numbers don't matter, right? He says numbers don't matter. But if you look at 111 exotics, 349 weapons, 948 pieces of armor, hopefully, I'm really hoping that this is just like a collection of, every weapon in the game, every piece of armor in the game. And then, if there's stuff you use on the regular, you can move them into your vault. But if it's just stuff that you've collected and you have a record of that collection, great. It goes right in here. That's how I'm hoping that works. And again, if the weapon meta changes and all of a sudden you want, a Suros sidearm, then you can just pull it out of there.
All the different activities, all the different subclasses.
Ghosts are in here. Vehicles are in here.
Ghosts, all of your different bots, all of my
Flare.
ships, all of my sparrows, and
Flare.
And Flare, perhaps near and dear to
Flare.
everyone's heart. The Flare.
No
the
fun
thing
for
you
me.
use to decorate your Guardians. Here we have our emblems. Here we have our shaders. It's important to wear some flair. It's important to express yourself. You do want to express yourself, don't you, Steve? We really do require 15 pieces of flair in Destiny 2.
Yes.
Some people choose to wear more, and we encourage that.
It's from the movie.
It is.
You have a case of the Mondays.
I do have a bit of a case of the Mondays, even though it's Tuesday. But we can see that this is an opportunity for you to look.
Gotta love Office Space. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Numbers are placeholder, or if they are finished, pardon our dust.
Let's just assume they're all placeholders.
If vehicles are there, then we must have some way of ability to access previously owned vehicles. I would not make that assumption. If they're in your inventory when Forsaken drops, unless told otherwise, I would not delete anything that you want to be holding on to.
What would you want to say about this?
Boy, I mean, like these are features available to everyone. Triumphs and collections are available to all the players of Destiny 2. So we're excited. I think that all these things go together to tell a story about depth and about Destiny for me is at its best when I have a Triumph I'm chasing that's tied to a bounty, that's tied to a material I'm gathering from a public event. I feel smart because I chose to do these things, and I'm trying to get the lore to finish the book, and so Destiny's really unique in that way where I love Destiny the most when it's that, and I think that that's been a big piece of what we've been trying to do.
It was really powerful the moment this went in, and we imported our own characters from home, and you could see this just populate with the stuff you had and then the stuff that you still didn't have. And so I know a lot of people out there have almost as much, probably almost everything that they could possibly think that is out in the game, but this tells you like, no, you still don't have this piece, or you still don't have this thing.
So that
which sets do you want to complete? It was really powerful.
Collections launches with Forsaken, so it's not going to be like Moments of Triumph where we say Moments of Triumph are live and our most hardcore fans go in and say, cool, I'm done, where's my shirt, right? Like there's going to be all new things to gather in there. There are going to be all new things that you can go and do and collect, and the collections tab will be a great way for you to sort of plan your time, which is something that a lot of people in our community talk about. I want to plan my time. I want to play my
That
game
is
in the most profitable way possible.
one of the problems with the Moments of Triumph in the past is that because they were retroactive, if you were a hardcore player, like it literally was all filled in as soon as it launched. So it was really underwhelming if you're a hardcore player.
To the depth of the
So at least with this, it's coming with a new release, which means there'll be new stuff to do and to fill out.
hobby and everything is just the parallel pursuits that we're gonna.
Dreaming City looks amazing. It looks
whether it's the campaign, or
beautiful.
quests, or we're adding bounties, and so this collections is just another aspect, another axis of. Yeah. Hey, I can be spending my time going and getting this thing while I'm getting a patrol and I'm hunting down an outlaw and I'm doing all of these things.
All at once.
or the quest to delete shaders. It's going to be great.
Cool, guys.
Yeah. It was almost the title.
Well, I think that's all we're going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. And I know that we have created more questions than we've answered by design. That was the plan. We will be at E3. We will be updating our blog every week. We will be at Guardian.
9 new supers. I know 9 new supers is dope.
Play this game and to offer their,
That's a lot of new supers, man.
This begins that old familiar summer cycle. If you are a Destiny fan, We're going to travel the world. We're going to talk to people.
Not new subclasses, new supers, so new nodes. So you know how each subclass right now has 2 nodes that you can choose between? It seems like they're adding a 3rd node in the middle, which means 9 new nodes, one for each
thank you for playing.
subclass.
We'll see you at E3.
Yeah.
See you at E3.
Yeah.
And you.
And you and me and you and Lars and the rest of the
Tej
people.
from HMS.
Tej from High Moon Studios, who's been a great partner.
Oh my God,
the
it's been amazing. And they were like, "Hey, you want to work with High Moon and go to San Diego every month?" And I was like, "I guess that's fine." Yeah, no, they've been amazing. They've been absolutely incredible. It's been really great.
Well, we'll see them at E3 as well.
Yeah.
And if we see you at E3, definitely pull us aside and say hi. And if not, hopefully we'll see you at some point this summer. In closing, we're going to take another.
I'm psyched that they're bringing this to Guardian Con.
In full. The team that made that Vidoc for us was given a challenge. We said, take everything that you're revealing, take everything that you're saying, take everything that our developers.
I think Bungie just sold a bunch of tickets to Guardian Con.
in 60 seconds. So let's see how they met that challenge with this. Hope you enjoyed the show. Check it out.
We're building something the community has been asking for.
We want to be able to give players what they want, but also surprise them.
We want this release to have a different tone and a different vibe.
You're going to go to a darker place. You're going to take on a different role as a Guardian.
We're changing the weapon slides. We're changing how the pursuits work.
Gambit is a brand new mode.
Armor perks, random rolls, new mod system, new subclass paths.
We're making Forsaken for people who love Destiny.
Making a game
Oh, that was one of the reef ships from.
That's what we're going to constantly be pushing towards.
What was the second DLC of Destiny 1? That was cool looking.
Through that lens.
$100 for Forsaken on BNet? Holy smokes. All right, let's check that out real quick. Let's see here. Destiny Forsaken. Shop. Let's see here. It's $80. $80, man. Digital Deluxe Edition. Let's see what comes in the Digital Deluxe. So you can get the Standard Edition for $40. That's Forsaken. For another $30, you can get the Annual Pass. And for another $10, you can get the Digital Deluxe. Does it say? Digital Deluxe. You get a copy of Destiny 2 Forsaken, premium digital content, and the Annual Pass. Annual Pass. Awoken Legend Ghosts. Awoken Legend set. So you get a bow, a ghost, and an emblem. Bow. Legendary bow ornament. So it's not even a bow. You get an ornament for a bow, an emblem, and a Vestigian ghost shell. Is there going to be a physical one? What I'm curious about is if there's going to be... Let's see if we go to... let's see, Amazon maybe? Amazon. And Destiny 2 for scan. Nothing here yet, huh? Oh, nope. Oh, what's up with this? It's beautiful. Where would it be? I'd love to see if there's is there a physical edition that comes with like physical good? Digital Deluxe comes with Cade Stash Gear, Awoken Legend set, and the Annual Pass. I'd love to know if there's like a physical edition. Let's go to the Bungie store and see Bungie. Actually, if we go to Destiny 2, see what that brings us to. No. Not seeing any physical editions at GameStop. I wonder if there's not going to be a physical edition.